Live on Zoom and on Facebook. So welcome everyone to this wonderful program. So it's still our normal weekly. It's two times in a month. So this week we'll be looking at time management. So the program is corporate training, and your anchor, as usual, is Sadaf Taher. Sadaf, you're welcome.
Thank you so much once again to have me on this amazing session on time management. And
Yes.
as mentioned earlier, I am a corporate trainer. Thank you so much for that introduction. And I work in Mumbai. So today it's the third session that we have. Once again, I want to thank Coin News Extra for this amazing opportunities and for the sessions that we've had. So if you want to have a sneak peek of the earlier sessions, feel free to go on YouTube and check them out. Today we're going to talk about time management. And some of the most common sentences that I've heard when it comes to time management is we all have 24 hours in a day, but at times we feel that it's not enough, we're not able to manage, or we keep on juggling too much, or it takes a toll on both personal as well as professional life. And it all boils down to the fact that we're not able to manage the entire 24 hours that we have at our hand. And if we're able to manage time well and prioritize our tasks in the order that we want them to be, our work and our time would not just be efficient but even be effective. And if you want to know more about time management and the skills that one should have or the strategies that one should adopt, stay tuned, and we're going to learn more about time management in the next 20 minutes. So, the objective of this 20-minute session that we would have is to acquire some effective planning skills. We will get to know about time management matrix by the renowned Stephen Covey. We will identify the importance and the difference between important and urgent tasks and some effective prioritization skills. Uh, Before we do that, let's understand why is it that we need to plan our day, which is one of the most crucial things or crucial steps on how we can manage time effectively. If we plan our tasks way before, it will help us give a clear focus and direction. It will improve our efficiency and effectiveness. There would be better control and quality of work that we put in. Also, we'll be able to stick to deadlines or probably submit or do our time or do our work before the submissions of deadlines. Plus it also helps you follow the three helps you to delegate and delete unnecessary tasks that you might have, or even eliminate duplication of work. So remember the 6 P's, that is proper prior planning promotes peak performance. That immensely helps. Then I'm reminded of a quote by Abraham Lincoln, and he says that if you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and the first 4 hours is what he'll spend on sharpening the axe. Now, from this, we realize the importance of skills and the importance of working on proper planning is what we learn from this quote. Uh, we know the task, but the planning before it, the skills that you need to acquire is really, really crucial. Which is why what we're going to learn about in the next step is more to do with realization. Now, let's talk about something that we've almost take for granted. The average human life is somewhere close to 70 years, if what we imagine it to be, and that comes down to, if you calculate it in the number of days, it comes down to 25,550 days, right? 70 years, 365. And if you calculate only weekends, that is 3,640 Sundays is what we have at our hands. Now, whatever that your age is right now, subtract it from 70. Now, calculate how much time are we left with. And again, not trying to demoralize, but what is the guarantee that we'll actually reach 70? So, the divine truth, we don't have many Sundays left to complete our tasks, to achieve the goals that we have, be it personal or professional goals in our life. So, the important truth and the divine truth is we need to work hard. We need to manage our time well so as to reach our goals. It can either be professional goals or personal goals. Something as simple as enjoying our life. We always wait for that one day that we might do this or do that, but do we even know whether we'll have that one day or not? So, the five main aspects when it comes to time management is planning and goal setting. That's the first. Second is managing yourself. That's second. Dealing with other people, plus your own time, and then finally getting results. And the first four actually interconnect in order to get the result that you want, your desired result. Some very good essential time management habits are these, that you should always know and calculate as to where your hours, minutes, and seconds are going. Usually, we don't really calculate or prioritize or number or put a hold on the amount of time that we spend, either when it comes to work or when it comes to entertainment. That is a huge, big no. Either working, or if you are on a trip, always know that this is the amount of time that you're spending. Just like we have a tab on the amount of money that we have to spend when you're saving or when you're spending on something. Just like we keep a tab on money, same thing goes with time too. Always have the end in mind and then start the beginning. Then finally work, have priorities defined, and then finally schedule time for important issues. Now, we've always heard this, that create a timetable. That immensely helps, but I have something better. uh, Always start your day. One tip that has worked immensely well and has proven to be quite effective for me and for some of my mentees that I've always given them is, start your day by writing your to-do list. That immensely helps, and I'm sure many of us do that. But that's not it. So on a piece of paper, write it down, or if you have a board at your workplace, or at your home office, if you have something as a whiteboard, write down your task for the day that you want to complete in the 24 hours, or in the uh, particular EOD that you have defined for yourself. Next, so many of us actually do that. The next step is number them. That this is the step. Now, many people actually stop by writing the to-do list, but there are two more steps. The next step is actually to mention the numbers in which order you plan to do it. Now, exactly what you're doing here is you're prioritizing your tasks, right? So let's suppose you've written 10 tasks for the day, that this is what I plan to finish on 23rd August, for example, and I've written 10 tasks. I will not just stop by writing the 10 tasks, but rather I would number them accordingly. That this is the task I plan to do first, this is the second, and this will be the last or 10th task of the day. That's the second step. The third step is actually to mention the time that I would allocate for each task. That means, let's say the first task would be, I would spend somewhere close to 45 minutes on doing this particular task. The second would take at least an hour. The third would take somewhere close to 15 minutes. You get the idea, right? Now, what you're doing here is exactly, you're not just prioritizing your task for the day, but you're also allocating the number of hours that you would spend. So your calculation of time is also there, and you'd know exactly how productive and efficient were you during the entire day. Plus, what happens when you've written down your tasks and they're there in front of your eyes at all times? The reason why I prefer it on paper or on a board is because they're there in front of your eyes at all times, instead of writing either on a pad or on a cell phone. Because you have to open it and they're not there in front of your eyes. So writing your to-do list or your tasks on a piece of paper or on a board helps you look at it at all times, and we are bugged that, all right, I have to do this task. And that immensely helps. So there's a 3-step plan for not just having your goals, but writing your priorities and calculation of time as to how much time you would spend. At the end of the day, it is towards results that you would move. Then, and now again, the good part among this is that every time you finish a task, you can pat yourself on the back, or even take some mini breaks, because usually people have the tendency to keep on sitting at one particular workplace and they're not moving. So every time after you finish a task, get up, take a walk, and then come back. That immensely helps you to be active, and that keeps our brain active, because we are not sitting at one particular place and spending all our time, energy, and it keeps you fresh and it keeps you moving to continue for the rest of the day. Then one more thing that has immensely helped is Stephen Covey's time management matrix. That is again one brilliant way to not just identify but even manage time. And what he has done is he's given us a time management matrix that divides tasks into 4 quadrants. So defining tasks on the basis of urgency and importance, that's the first quadrant. The second quadrant talks about tasks that are important but are not urgent. The third quadrant, he talks about tasks that are urgent but not important. And lastly, the fourth quadrant, it talks about tasks that are not urgent and not important. So in now, usually when people confuse tasks with urgency and with importance, that is not how it goes. So according to Stephen Covey, there are 4 quadrants that I just told you about, and he has bifurcated them on the basis of urgency, non-urgency, importance versus non-importance. And under the first quadrant, which deals with urgency as well as important, you have tasks that are ideally, some of the examples could be pressing emergencies, medical emergencies, an immediate deadline driven project that has come up to you that requires immediate attention. That is the first task. And it's sort of very rare that these last minute schedule or preparation of activities. So these are very few minute tasks that might come up, not every day, but yes, sometimes of the week or of the month, they might pop up. The second is the most important quadrant, which is quite neglected and that requires ultimate attention and focus. And if the maximum focus, if the maximum time is spent on the second quadrant, which deals with tasks that are not urgent but important, the amount of quadrant one that you would spend would eventually reduce. So this is the quadrant that deals with tasks that require your preparation, your planning, something like your career planning, or something that has to deal with your health, your fitness. So the more important your tasks are in here, the more time that you spend in here, eventually your the time that you spend in quadrant one would reduce. But if you neglect this task, eventually all the tasks would eventually come to quadrant one, because they're not urgent, but then they would become urgent. So everything would shift to quadrant number one, which eventually leads to high stress and um improper work-life balance. The reason why people face issues of work-life balance is because they're not managing their quadrant two very well. They're not spending time on tasks that are important, but they're not urgent. Eventually, importancy brings in urgency too if you neglect quadrant number two. Then finally, when we talk about quadrant number three, that talks about tasks that are not important, but they look urgent. So it could be something like some mails that you might have to send, an immediate pressing matter that might have come up for someone else, for your colleagues or for your boss, some popular activities. Now, what happens is this is called as the quadrant of deception. If it is urgent, it is urgent to someone else. And usually the sense of urgency brings in that it is brings in deception that it is an important task, wherein if it is important, it might be important to someone else and not to you. So some interruptions, some important phone calls, some reports which someone, your colleague, has to write it, and he immediately comes to you and asks to you to do it. Now if it is urgent, it is to him, it's not to you. So the important thing here is that learn the habit of saying no, not every time, but then don't sacrifice your work at the expense of someone else. That is that eventually leads to a lot of time wasting at times. And then finally, quadrant number four, which is said as the quadrant of waste, which are tasks that are neither urgent nor important. And it could be something to do with a lot of us take mini breaks, escape activities, time wasters, mindless TV shows or series, and the middle of at the middle of work. Um, usually people go out for multiple coffee breaks. I'm not against taking breaks, which is why I said that after every task one should go out and move out from its place. But junk mails, all of these, and obviously it depends upon how you want to take tasks up, or how do you define what comes under the purview of waste or of deception. But then I'm sure all of us realize unnecessary chit chat or banter that we might, or gossip, or indulging in gossip at workplace. It's nothing but a waste of time. So it's a good idea that why don't you spend those 15-20 minutes accomplishing a task and then taking your break, rather than indulging in mindless banter, which eventually leads to you moving from quadrant one and quadrant two. So Stephen Covey's time management matrix is an excellent way to help you manage time efficiently and effectively. And then finally, uh, one thing that can immensely help us manage our time well is one thing that we've already learned is a master to-do list, accomplishing tasks. Always, something that immensely helps is take upon one work or one task at a time. Juggling between too many things would lead to deteriorated quality of work, and plus it would lead us to have it leads to immense stress, because many of us think that I'm not able to accomplish this or that particular work or that particular role at one point of time. So that is one. And then finally, don't just take up everything on yourself. Learn the habit of delegating tasks to people, if that could be done. You don't have to do everything on yourself, so delegate. uh, Delegation is an excellent way to manage your time, if at all it is possible, or share responsibilities. Have ready-made checklist or to-do list ready by yourself, and that immensely helps one manage time and manage their personal as well as their professional life. And with that, finally, we are done with the session on time management matrix. Thank you so much for listening. The next session, I hope all of you to be there once again. All right, Coin News Extra. Anything else? Do we need to address today?
Yeah, it's like we have some questions.
Okay, let me. Please, how can someone that sleeps a lot handle this time management? Thank you, John. Amazing question, I must say. Uh, have let's say, so for example, you sleep for 10 hours, or maybe 12. Let me go by the maximum. You do have the remaining time with you. Prioritize your task accordingly. Plus, sleeping for excess amount of time. Why don't you do one thing? So, of course, the whatever time that is remaining at your hand, why don't you write down the task as mentioned, as I told you about. Those prioritizing plus calculation of time, that is one. Secondly, try to cut down on your sleep by half an hour every month. So I'm not asking you to cut down on your sleep automatically at once. No, of course not. That's not the idea. Probably you might not even like the idea if I'm asking you to cutting down on your sleep time. No, but then try to cut down on your sleep for half an hour every month, and that is gradual, which would not even sound or look that Herculean to you if you do that every month. So let's say for August, you cut down on your sleep time by half an hour. By September, cut it down again by half an hour. And by the end of this year, so August, September, October, November, December, 5 months, half an hour every day, and you've cut down on your sleep time by 1.5 hours, which is great. That can immensely help you manage your time effectively and very well. So I hope that I have answered your question. All right. Bilik asked me, can you describe a situation in which you were late to complete a task or you missed a deadline? Yes, let me try and figure. I have to delve into my past. I think it has happened. Yes, I was asked to write a content piece, and the amount of research that I took in coming up, the amount of research that I had took up a lot of time, because that was quite a lengthy piece that I had to write, somewhere close to 2,000 words or 3,000 words, if I'm not wrong. but the subject was as such that it required me to do a lot of research about that particular topic, and that took up maximum time. And the submission was 6 p.m. And I actually submitted it somewhere close to 8 p.m. But there were a few things that I did. I knew that it would take up some time. So by 4 p.m., I sort of had an idea that I would not be able to complete it by 6 p.m. or send it to my boss by 6 p.m. So number one thing that I did was I immediately informed my boss, and I told her that I won't be able to complete it by 6 p.m. because the subject is as such that it required me to do a lot of research. Secondly, I informed her that I knew that I would be able to finish it somewhere close to 8. So I told her that I would be actually able to send it to you by 10. So I actually bought in some more time. That is the second strategy that I adopted. Number three, I made sure that my quality of article was not just good but excellent, because I have already exceeded the time. Now I need to make sure that the quality wise it's not just at par but exceeds beyond quality that she's expecting. That eventually would negate one negative element of the fact that I've exceeded the timeline. So following these steps immensely helps, because you've already done one negative, which is missing out on timeline. So the second thing is compensate with your quality of work. That is one thing that immensely helps. So I'm pretty sure, I hope that answer is good enough, Blake. Any other question from anyone? Please feel free to ask.
Okay, let's check if there's. Okay,
There's
no other
something in the
question.
chat. So, all right. Thank you all so much for being here and for being a part of this session. I will see you all next week. Till then, take care and bye-bye.
Okay, that was an insightful one from you, Sadaf. Very interesting. Time management is seriously a problem. Many people don't know how to manage their time. So, if in case you have other questions, you can get across to her. Once you reach to us, we can get across to her. Or you can also drop your details.
Oh, sure. Let me quickly enter my details here. Tahir, corporate trainer, and I would write down my email ID too if you want to get in touch, as well as my LinkedIn email ID, LinkedIn link. So
You can also, in case you can type Sadaf Taher on LinkedIn and you search her, you will see her.
I will put in my LinkedIn URL. Just give me a moment.
Okay, for people that are viewing on Facebook, contact is Saddy, that's SADDY2407 so that you can get across to her directly. So she is a corporate trainer.
Here is my LinkedIn URL, which is linkedin.com/in/Sadaf Tahir, which is SADAFTAHIR. Thank you so much. Hope to see you all in the next week session as well.
Okay, this program will be coming up in the next 2 weeks. Join us same time, same platform. Thank you very much, Sadaf. Bye-bye.